Huh? What is this? It's a door. Why is a door here? Where am I? How did I get here? Isn't this classroom? Even so, it's a very strange classroom. Why am I in a place like this? I went inside the ancient ruin with everyone else, and I arrived at a place that looked like a trial ground, but then it's not connected. I don't know why I'm here. It's like there's no connection between how I left the trial ground and how I ended up here. It's just like before, when we were all gathered in that classroom just before we arrived at Jabberwock. But where is this place? Is it somewhere on Jabberwock Island?
Ahem, ahem. Testing, testing. Mic check 1, 2. This is a test of the school broadcast system. Am I on? Can everyone hear me? Okay, well then. Welcome to Hope Speak Academy, you guys. At this point, I shall explain the graduation exam to you all. So please assemble at the gymnasium immediately.
Huh? Did he say what I think he just said? Yes, he definitely said it. He said, "Welcome to Hope's Peak Academy." Why would this place be Hope's Peak Academy? And not just that, what is the graduation exam? Isn't the killing over already? We're in familiar area and we're not quite done just yet. Even the hallway doesn't feel like a school at all. What a creepy place. At least, it doesn't look like a normal school at all. It's definitely a lie. There's no way this place is Hope's Peak Academy. Is this creepy place the Hope's Peak Academy that I've admired for so long? It's probably a building that Monokuma made to startle us, just like the funhouse. That's right, that's definitely it. Monokuma said to come to the gymnasium, right? Then I'll go, and definitely. This is all so familiar. The gymnasium is here, right? Alright, I'm going inside. Something might be waiting, but I'm not going to cower away anymore. And so, I braced myself and cautiously opened. I wasn't prepared for what was awaiting me on the other side of that. Damn.
Damn right.
Yo, Hajime,
Yo.
you heard the announcement and came here too, right? You guys did too, right?
What's going on?
Hey, what do you make of all this? Monokuma said this place was Hope's Peak Academy or something.
That is...
That cannot be possible.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, you look at it, it's impossible. Hello? how does it feel to return to long-awaited Hope's Peak Academy?
Why, you...
You... Hey, where are we? Where do you lock us up this time? Well, what a shock. I just told you guys this is Hope's Peak Academy.
Of course not!
There's no way in hell that's true.
No!
I mean, this is definitely Hope's Peak Academy. Well, what's left of it anyway? What's left of it?
What?
Didn't I tell you before? Unfortunately, Hope's Peak Academy fell to ruin.
Lies.
You were serious about that?
Silly fool.
I don't believe it. But of course it fell to ruin. I mean, they were doing things that they deserved to be ruined for. What do you mean?
I don't like...
Anyway, I'm pretty disappointed. I went to all this trouble to bring you to Hope's Peak Academy, and you don't feel surprised or nostalgic.
Fine.
Oh well, it's not like I did this for you guys. Even if you don't feel nostalgic, I'm sure someone is feeling nostalgic right now. Someone?
Don't fuck with me!
Enough of this bullshit. Just spit it out already. Where do you take us, you bastard? Though I am not certain of my memories, I believe we entered the ancient ruin and...
In other words...
It means I made this Hope's Peak Academy between the door to the ruin and the inside of the ruin. What do you mean between?
Hey!
What do you mean made?
What's this?
Oh my! Are your minds getting the grumblies that only knowledge can satisfy? Good, very good! It's fine to hurry along to the graduation exam, but it's in my nature to provide a little entertainment. Entertainment? You're planning to make us do something, aren't you?
No way!
It's nothing to be so cautious about. It's not like you'll be making life exchanges or anything like that. It's just a simple graduation exam.
Huh?
Then what is the graduation exam?
Hey,
Well, as the headmaster, I'm conflicted, you know. On one hand, I'm really happy that you're finally going to graduate.
are you sure about...
But on the other hand, I'm worried about whether you guys will be okay in the outside world.
So...
That's why I'm thinking about telling you what the outside world is like before you make a decision. Whether you want to leave Jabberwock Island or stay here. Huh? We're obviously going to get out. There's no way we'd stay here.
That's right!
This is annoying. Just hurry up and let us choose. Let us choose right now.
No!
You can't do that. The main cast hasn't arrived yet. Main cast?
Hey,
Meaning, you guys are just extras until the guest of honor arrives. So enough complaining already. Hurry up and start researching the outside world. What do you mean? I have dispersed all the teaching materials you need for your research throughout Hope's Peak Academy. Well, I don't think this needs to be said, but all the information is accurate and contains no lies whatsoever. Otherwise, the main cast is gonna hate me. So please rest assured and strive to do your best during your field trip. And as usual, after leaving us with his cryptic words, Monokuma disappeared. Even if the setting had changed, even if the killing was finished, he was still the same as usual. What is going on? Outside world? Main cast? Somehow, I have a bad feeling about this.
Hey!
Like, he kept insisting that this place is Hope's Peak Academy. But that's impossible, right?
What are you saying?
How did we make it back to Hope's Peak Academy from a tropical island in the first place? It's impossible.
it cannot be.
There is no place for Hope's Peak Academy to exist in Jabberwock Island. I said I wanted to go back, but I don't want to go back to a creepy place like this. What does this mean? So many things I don't understand have happened on the island. This building is really Hope's Peak Academy? This is the Hope's Peak Academy I've been admiring for so long. What in the world is going on? Damn it, why is this happening? Why? I was finally able to attend Hope's Peak Academy. I finally thought I'd become confident in myself. Even so, I wanted to become Hope. If that's what you're thinking, just stop it. Listen carefully. The only humans worthy of becoming Hope possess amazing talents and a strong will. And the moment you're born into this world, you either have that or you don't. It has nothing to do with effort. You must be chosen by Hope to become Hope. That's why it's not even worth admiring. Or were you so blinded by your admiration for Hope's Peak Academy that you couldn't even see that? Ugh. You're just some nobody from the reserve course who never had a talent to begin with. A nobody who forgot he was a nobody. That's all. I really am a nobody. You should have just left me alone. Why do I have to go through something like this? Hajime, did something happen? Huh?
Hey, bastard.
Now's not the time to zone out. Sorry, it's nothing. I don't really get it, but is that all?
I'm gonna do it!
As long as I don't beat the crap out of Monokuma, nothing's gonna be solved. Is that what it means?
Hey.
Just what the heck is Monokuma anyway? He's not part of the Future Foundation, right? If you say that, then what is the Future Foundation? Even though Chiaki and Manami are gone, our situation hasn't changed one bit. Which means the Future Foundation wasn't our enemy. That's the only thing I can think of.
You serious?
So they're not World Ender. Then we really were tricked by Monokuma. However, the Future Foundation is responsible for trapping us on this island, right? Regarding that matter, I believe Monami never once denied that.
Damn it.
Even if they're our allies, they might not just be our allies. Maybe Monokuma is telling us to investigate that information on our own. Chiaki said she could not betray the Future Foundation. But if she were still alive, she definitely would have helped us. No, even her just being with us would have been So what should we do?
Damn it.
Well, that's obvious. If we're gonna get out of here safely, we have to do that graduation exam, right?
So annoying.
Graduation exam, huh? I'm not really good at taking exams. Well, I guess it's better than people dying.
Jeez.
Monokuma said something about a field trip, right? Is he telling us to investigate like we have been?
Alright!
Alright, I'm gonna do it!
Prepare yourself.
Like...
Yeah, we might be able to learn about something. About Hope's Peak Academy, about ourselves. I don't care if we don't know anymore. If we can just go back to our normal lives, I'm fine.
Hey!
Hey, we can go home when this is over, right? We can finally get off this damn island, right? If that's the case, let's all leave this island alive by any means.
Of course!
Hell yes! He's right. Now's not the time to bemoan how unlucky I am. Where's this place really? What's happened to Hope's Peak Academy? None of that matters. What's important is, I need to leave this island with the others. We sacrificed so many lives in order to survive just so we could do that. There's no way we can stop now. But Monokuma should already know that that's what we're thinking. So why did he say that? We have to decide on our own whether or not we want to leave Jabberwock Island. He should already know that we'd never choose to stay on this island.
Hey!
So what are we gonna do? Can we start already? But what are we even looking for? Do we just have to investigate this weird-ass building?
Even so.
Even so, I don't think we'll find the answers to all our questions inside this damn building. Well, I'll just go on ahead for now.
Whoa!
Hey, you're already going?
Jeez.
What is that idiot thinking running ahead without being cautious?
Man.
She obviously isn't thinking about anything.
However,
It will be fine. There will no longer be any situations where we must exchange each other's lives. So we should do our best as well. Like they say, it is not scary if everyone stops at a green light. If we stopped at the green light, we'd never reach our goal.
Jeez. You're...
Connie already took off on her own. It'd be faster if we split up and look around, too. Like Sonia said, if there's no more killing, we don't have to worry about anything one betraying us anymore. Then, let's get this over with and go.
Later.
I'll go in ahead. I'll see you guys later. With those brief words, Fuyuhiko left the gymnasium.
excuse me.
I shall do my best to obtain a wonderful clue that will be useful to everyone. Now then, please excuse me. Sonia took a deep bow, then left the
Oh
gymnasium.
my.
Miss Sonia.
Miss Sonia!
Miss Sonia, please don't leave me. I'll be in danger if I'm left alone. Kazuichi chased after Sonia, who had just departed and left the gymnasium. I should hurry and start too. Just a bit more. Just a bit more, and it's going to end. I can escape this nightmare and return to my usual, peaceful, everyday life. The only thing we can do is advance toward that hope. Even though I don't understand, and that a lot of horrifying things keep happening. For the sake of everyone who couldn't make it this far, I'm definitely going to go home. Alright, so it is now time to investigate. Looks like there are still some hidden Monokumas. I guess it's for New Game Plus or whatever.
I knew you could do it.
Don't need to be in here much longer, apparently. We're on the 5th floor. Huh? That's weird. This is the hallway I walked through to get to the gymnasium, but it's clearly different. Is this Monokuma's doing too? Is he trying to confuse us again? I don't know how he's doing it, but he keeps doing it over and over again. He's so persistent. But I'm not going to fall for his trap. There's no way this will make me back down. This hallway, there is a strange feeling to it, no? As if an invisible wall has been erected to limit our movement.
I am concerned.
Is it just me? Alright, so we can only go through doors that don't have the little pixels to bar us, so we can't go there. But it looks like we're in the Matrix, doesn't it? Oh, looks like the dojo we can go in. Is this a dojo? It's full of strange things that make me think there's no way we're inside a school. Perhaps it's a mistake to expect the inside of this building to make sense. What is this? Is this a manga? The title is Manga for Morons, A History of Hope's Peak Academy by Monokuma. Why is a manga with such a suspicious-looking title laying out in the open like this? Let's start with history first, class. Reading manga is the third best way to learn about history. Then what's the first, you ask? That depends on the person. So just as I thought, Monokuma made this. Totally explains how suspicious it looks. I really want to just ignore it, but there's no way I can do that. Fine, I'll look at it. I'll look at anything that might be a clue to getting out of here, no matter what it is. I picked up the manga off the floor and started flipping through the pages. It's an introduction to Hope's Peak Academy's history, as narrated by the cutesy character on the cover. The story begins with an introduction to Hope's Peak Academy. Hope's Peak Academy is a government-funded school of privilege where only the most talented high school students can hope to attend. Built to raise hope in the nation's future, many of its alumni are key leaders of various industries. New students are chosen through a scouting process, but the ones who scout them are Hope's Peak Academy's teachers, who serve as both educators and researchers of talent. Hope's Peak Academy isn't just a school for talent, it is also a school for researching talent as well. However, for the past few years, Hope's Peak Academy has been suffering from a decline in funding. If this persists, the Academy believes they will not be able to make progress with their research of talent. So they decide to implement a new system. The Reserve Department. Unlike the main department who scouts for students, the Reserve Department utilizes a general entrance exam. Normal faculty was hired and placed in charge of looking after the Reserve Department. The expenses and exam fees for the Reserve Department are quite high compared to most high schools. Nevertheless, Hope's Peak Academy received an endless stream of applicants. Hope's Peak Academy was now available to talentless commoners, people who only cared about the brand. With this, Hope's Peak Academy managed to amass sizable funds and began further research of talent. To create Hope's Peak Academy's earnest wish, a true genius who would become mankind's hope. But just when they thought everything was going well, an unprecedented incident occurred. The incident that triggered the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. That's right, it was the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Hope's Peak Academy was crippled by this incident and was forced to shut down without accomplishing anything. The end. Huh? The ending was so sudden, like a manga that's suddenly cancelled in the middle of its run. Plus, these phrases mentioned at the end of this manga, the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. These names are so melodramatic, there's no way these incidents really happened, right? This manga only mentions the names, so I don't really know the details, but... No, it'd just be a waste of time to wonder about things that don't make sense. More importantly, I learned something because of this manga. The reserve department. That department was only built to collect money. I was one of those reserve corps students, right?
But hold on.
That's weird. Oh, you're here again. The thing that's weird is you, of course. Huh?
Hey,
Why did you forget that you were part of the reserve department? The Future Foundation only took away your school life memories, right? But you should have known even before you entered that you had no talent, right? So, I think it's weird that you actually forgot something like that too. What do you want me to say?
by the way,
Based on my assumption, the Future Foundation must have wanted to hide the fact that you were one of those reserve corps students.
I got it.
Or you willingly sealed those memories yourself. Huh? You wanted to be confident in yourself, so you wanted to forget everything that embarrassed you. You know, when humans experience trauma, sometimes they erase their memory of what happened. It happens pretty often. Not that I know anything about that, though. Are you saying it's my fault I forgot? That's not it. When things get inconvenient, you always get angry and try to brush it off. Well, that's expected of a reserve corps student. Damn it, what the heck? Alright. So we learned that the reserve department was built just to get money, because apparently just, only having a select few students that are ultimately talented cannot be profitable. Yeah, that's actually explained in the manga, the novel prequel, Danganronpa 0 that I'm translating. They mentioned that. This hallway, it's kind of creepy. I can't go to places that I should be able to go to. It's like some rule is being enforced for no reason. It's like there's an invisible wall or something. Yep. It's like code is just breaking it. 5A. This is another manga. It's laying on top of the desk. And this one is Manga for Morons, The Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Wasn't the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy mentioned in that other manga too? It's why Hope's Peak Academy went bankrupt, and it was the trigger for the biggest, most tragic, most awful event in human history. If I read this manga, will I be able to learn a little more about that incident? I took the manga from the desk and started flipping through the pages to see what I could learn about the event known as the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. The story made heavy use of outdated, stylized drawings depicting characters solving mysteries. What's written here is, as the name suggests, the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy occurred at Hope's Peak Academy. The key player in that event was a student named Izuru Kamukura. Izuru was a genius known as a symbol of hope. Hope's Peak Academy used all their resources to develop him. Supposedly, Izuru was a genius among geniuses and possessed various talents. Wielding superior talent for the hope of mankind, the Academy referred to Izuru as the ultimate hope. To protect such rare talent, the Academy completely concealed all evidence of Izuru's origins and identity. Because of that, most of the students at the Academy were completely unaware of Izuru's existence. But Izuru was known as the symbol of hope, was responsible for a horrible incident. 13 students of Hope's Peak Academy Student Council, among the Academy's best and brightest, were brutally murdered by Izuru. However, the incident did not end there. The Academy tried to protect Izuru's superior talent and concealed the incident as though it never happened. However, a certain student began working in secret to use that incident to their advantage. That student uncovered what the Academy did, and by making that knowledge public, it stoked the fires of Reserve Corps students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. And the uprising began. And that heralded Hope's Peak Academy's destruction. This is the entirety of the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Eventually, that incident would lead to that horrifying, devastating incident. The incident that would be known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Works cited Danganronpa 0. The heavy sigh closed the manga. Am I supposed to believe this? There's no way 13 people were killed at Hope's Peak Academy. What irony! For a genius known as the ultimate hope to cause such a gruesome incident. A talent like that is too regal for society. It's like trying to buy juice with a bar of gold. Oh, you should be lucky that you're incompetent. Damn it, he always has to lead up to something offensive. He seriously pisses me off. But ultimate hope. Nagito mentioned that before too, but it looks like it means something completely different here. What Nagito said was the true meaning of hope. But for Izuru, hope simply means talent. More importantly, a genius who possesses various talents. I wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. That's right, the reserve department. Here, it said that the Reserve Corps students in the reserve department began uprising. Then what about me? Was I a participant too? No, that's not possible. There's no way. I have no reason to do something like that. Anyway, I've learned about the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, but the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is a far worse incident, right? What kind of incident was it? Who's this other student that isn't Izuru? A certain student who secretly used the incident to their advantage. Who is that? This incident is really messed up, but all it's done is raising more questions. The mysteries just keep piling up. Yeah, a lot of that, it cited Danganronpa 0, a lot of that is featured in the first few chapters. What is the... No, it's not. Okay, we've not done it. Open now. What else could it be? Remember, this is where Mukuro's corpse was being. What the hell is with this room? It's freaking cold in here. It's like I'm in a freezer or something. If I just stand still, I might end up freezing to death. I should hurry up and investigate so I can get out of here already. Here. This time the title is Manga for Morons, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. I knew it. The next one would obviously be about this incident. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, huh? Just what was that incident really all about? it might turn out to be something lame. I flipped through the pages of the manga and hoped that I was right. Looks like a Kazuo Umezu manga. He's a horror manga artist. A story about creepily drawn characters who get involved in such horrifying incidents. An incident known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Is this drawn so grotesquely because the incident itself is that grotesque? Anyway, the beginning of this creepy manga starts with this sentence. The tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was simply the trigger. At first, the uprising of the Reserve Corps students that triggered the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was initially hoped to be resolved quickly, but the situation continued to escalate to dangerous extremes. The movement started spreading all over the internet and fostered a thriving online community. The community was not limited to students, and people of various races and nations began joining in. But the movement was not confined to the internet and began spreading and eroding the real world. When the movement started, it was indistinguishable from any other demonstration inspired by social unrest. But as it spread across the world, certain abnormalities soon came to light. By then it was too late. The ends and the means had vanished, and wanton destruction became their only goal. The strong butchered the weak killed the weakest among them, and soon the weak formed fractions to brutally murder the strong. As the violence and death continued to spread, the shock of their actions began to disappear. As if the era was regressing to more uncivilized times, when senseless deaths were the norm. The media was oversaturated with deaths to the point where people would watch them while enjoying a meal. By the time the world realized what it had become, it was too late to stop what had happened. A feeling of immense despair began spreading and eventually engulfed the world. Acts of terrorism and coup d'etat began occurring around the world, a war waged in the name of despair. A war fought not for principles, religion, or personal gain, just war. Pure war. And because of that, there is no way to resolve it. How could a movement started by high school students progress to such a hopeless scenario? The only explanation is the existence of a certain organization, devoted to a certain student who influenced Hope's Peak Academy, a group called Ultimate Despair. Instead of using Hope's Peak Academy's talents for the sake of mankind's hope, they used them for the sake of mankind's despair. Key members of society used their influence to brainwash the masses in order to spread despair. Tech-savvy computer programmers wrote software to spread despair. The powerful and influential created new values and morals to spread despair. And with this they created the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. As long as ultimate despair exists, the despair engulfing the world will never end. The tragedy. My heart was racing in my chest, but my body felt ice cold. And it wasn't because I was freezing in this room. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, this is definitely all made up. I mean, if this is really true, then what's happening in the outside world? My family, my friends, the convenience store I frequent, the nearby bookstore, my favorite restaurant? What's happened to them?
No way!
Hey, are you seriously yelling at a manga? How crazy are you? Who would enjoy reading something like this?
What?
Oh my, you don't like manga? A high school student who doesn't like manga is like an office lady who doesn't like to eat candy. Enough. What is this messed up manga? I thought you'd obviously know about such a horrible event that destroyed the world, but for you not to remember that, such despair. The incident that happened during that period has been completely removed from your brains. But this incident really happened, and I actually forgot about it? There's no way that's possible.
What are you saying?
How many times do I have to tell you? All the clues here are real.
Hello.
Please understand, I'm rooting for you. If you don't learn about the full extent of the outside world, you guys will suffer for it. I just want to help you guys so you can live well-adjusted lives in the outside world. I see, so that's how it is. That's what he meant by what he said at the beginning. Well, as the headmaster, I'm conflicted, you know. On one hand, I'm really happy that you're finally going to graduate. But on the other hand, I'm worried about whether you guys will be okay in the outside world. That's why I'm thinking about telling you what the outside world is like before you make a decision. Whether you want to leave Jabberwock Island or stay here. He's trying to make us feel despair toward the outside world so we'll want to stay on this island. But there's no way I'm going to do what he wants. Despair like that simply can't exist. The outside world should be filled with hope. Just like now. Perhaps. No, that's definitely it. Whether or not this incident really happened, what in the world is this ultimate despair group? If they're devoted to a certain student who guided Hope's Peak Academy to its destruction, are they connected to both the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy? Plus, that organization isn't just one person, but a group of people. But if they're known as Ultimate Despair, they're high school students, right? Well, if they were actually able to do it, then I guess that's why they were ultimates. Then are the killings we're involved in connected to them as well? It's no use. I'm going to freeze to death. I'm at my limit. I need to get out of here. Shivering, I ran out of the freezing room. Oh, that was close. I nearly froze to death. So, where should I go next? Let's see.